Hey guys, it's me Lakeisha from OurLipsAreMoving.com, and I am so excited to be here with you for another episode of my Girl Crush series. Woo woo! I'm so excited. Guys, you don't even understand how important and how excited I am about this series. Literally, I'm like bringing it over to YouTube now, and I have some amazing women lined up, and I promise you that you are going to gain so much from all of these conversations because these women are totally badass and they're going after what they want, and everyone can learn a thing or two from what they have to offer to the world. So without further ado, I am going to introduce my next guest. So let me just invite her on so we can get rolling. Literally, guys. And feel free to be totally active with us. Ask questions in the comments, anything like that. Let me know that you're here. So my guest for this episode, her name is Ayanna, and she is a spiritual mindset coach, and she focuses on healing, self-love, and also making that cash. So again, guys, I know that you watch my videos, so you understand the importance of actually healing yourself and connecting back to love and tapping into love. So this girl is going to be the perfect person for us to speak to right now to get the ball rolling and get you into that energetic space so you can end the month of May with a freaking bang. Hi, love. How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I am great.
It's so nice to be with you here on the video.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so let me make sure I can see the comments. Got it. Okay, so how's your day going?
Oh, it's going great. It's going great. Easy.
Awesome.
Feeling your day?
Where do you live?
I live in Atlanta, Stone Mountain, to be more specific.
Oh, okay. Cool. Hi, Caroline. Yeah. So, Caroline, if you have any questions, please feel free to stop us and ask us along the way because your input is totally important to me. So, my love, please tell us how you actually got started out as a spiritual mindset coach.
Yes. Okay, so this is a bit of a long story.
That's okay.
Not too long, though, but it starts in high school. So I want to kind of give you the whole kind of bit. So in high school, I don't know if it's obvious or not, I was one of those girls who was like struggling with depression. I literally used to cut myself in high school. They had to call like an ambulance for me because I was having a panic attack one time in high school. So for like 7 or 8 years during my high school career, I was stuck in this sort of like depression. And it stemmed from sexual abuse. It stemmed from losing my father and me not knowing how to deal with it. But I was trapped in it nonetheless. So around like my senior year, I got into this church, but they were very extreme. They were like a cult-like church. And right before I left to college, I was part of this church, and then I went to school. And it was like the beginning of my healing and everything. I went to school, and I kept having this urge to learn how to meditate. So I was in a city, like a very cultural city. And I found myself, I was still part of this cult-like church because it's like spread out throughout the states. But I had this desire to learn how to meditate. So I Googled like Zen Center, how to learn how to meditate. And I found myself at this Zen Center. Oh, I can't even thinking about it, like just lights me up, like frees me energetically. So I ride my roommate's bike down to this Zen Center. It had 1111 was its address. 1111 East Park Street. Amazing. Anyway.
Oh, we're sideways.
We're sideways?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Maybe that works.
Yeah, I don't know how my piece here.
Let us know if we're better, guys. And thanks, Lisa, so much.
Yeah, it's not gonna let me do it this way.
The other way?
Yeah. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to do that because I have a phone stand, right? And the phone stand here. Maybe I can do it on my laptop. Can I exit out of this live and we?
You cannot do it on your laptop. It's not gonna let you in the video. They said it's better.
Huh?
They said it's better.
They said it's better. Is it better for both of us or just you?
I have no idea. On my computer, we're both facing the same way, so I don't know.
Okay. All right. We're going to go with that then. Okay. So,
yeah.
Where was I?
So it was 1111 Park.
Zen Buddhist Center. So I go there every Tuesday, and here's what is the reason why this is important. I'm going to this Zen Buddhist Center. I'm struggling with depression and just not being okay with myself. I'm in this Zen Buddhist Center, and immediately the first time walking in there, you can literally, like, for me, feel the presence of God. That same feeling you get when you're listening to people sing in a church is the same feeling I got immediately upon walking in the Zen Center. So I was kind of blown away because I was in this church, and this church literally told me, if you're not a Christian, if you're not part of this particular church and a Christian, have been baptized and all this other stuff, then you go to hell. But yet I was in, like, this Buddhist Zen Center where the priest was like this beautiful woman. She was so kind. And we would sit there, we would chant about love and kindness and compassion. And we would sit there in meditation. I was like, it's the same exact thing, except instead of Jesus, I'm looking at Buddha at the front of the room. And so it started me, the woman upstairs had like this library, and it had like a whole bunch of different books. And so it started me on this whole journey. Like, it just opened up my eyes, and I was adamant about learning about all different sorts of spirituality. And part of that was because one of the girls in the church, I remember me talking to one of the girls about my father, and her telling me, your father's in hell, like, because he wasn't a part of the church, of course, when I was a part of it. And I just couldn't sit with that. Like, I was not okay with that when she said that to me. And part of that was because a year or two after my dad died, he came to me in a dream. He was in like this little cage. He was like an animal in a cage, and he was fighting to get out of this cage. This was all in a dream. And then he finally escapes the cage, and he turns back to himself. He smiles at me, and then he waves goodbye. And he was just so joyful. So when she said to me, like, he's in hell, I'm like, you're wrong. You're wrong. Because I watched him leave. Like, I watched him transition, and I know that he was in a beautiful place. So anyway, I was adamant about finding the truth about where, like, everything was and etc. So I stumbled into spirituality. I was in love with spirituality. I'm in college. My mom encouraged me to get a degree in what I love. I love to write. So I was in college for writing / English. Ooh. Cool. And I discovered Marie Forleo. I feel like everybody should know who Marie Forleo is by now.
Yes.
Obviously changed my life. So I'm in college. I'm studying spirituality. I'm healing myself. I'm doing all this great stuff. And I stumbled upon Marie Forleo. Marie Forleo's like, do your own thing, girl. Be an entrepreneur. And I'm like, what? That's not what anybody told me. I thought I had to be a t-shirt. What are you saying? So, and then one day she interviews Danielle Laporte, who is like the love of my life. She doesn't know me, but my life. And the reason why love of my life is because that interview with Danielle Laporte and Marie Forleo, and Danielle Laporte is there talking about spirituality, like all the stuff that I'm studying and I'm learning and I'm loving, and she's turned it into a whole business that supports her. And my mind was blown. And I was like, I can literally take this stuff that I'm using, this stuff that I love, and, you know, build a life financially around it. So right around like the end of college, I was dating this guy, and he, like, at the beginning of college, it's like my sophomore year, I was dating this guy. I'm still healing and everything. He breaks up with me. He tells me I'm depressed. And that's why he leaves me. Fake love. But anyway, he leaves me.
That's another time.
But what it does, though, it's good though, because it forces me. I have been learning all these spiritual concepts, but now it was time to apply them, because, you know, learning them was enough to pull me out of, like, cut myself and being super, super depressed, but it wasn't enough to shift the way I came off to the people around me. So yeah, he broke up with me, and right before he broke up with me, I said, I want to make a living talking about spirituality and writing for a living. And so yeah, that's how it happened. We just kind of, I just used my own experience and shifted into entrepreneurship.
Yeah, awesome. I like that. I feel like that's how, like, everyone I talk to, that's how, like, they got started. Like, I was seeking out healing myself, and in the process of that, I found Marie Forleo and Napoleon Hill, and I was just like, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Someone gave me Think and Grow Rich on the Train and was like, you should read this. It will change your life. I wish I could find that person because one of the greatest books ever. Like,
ever.
and from that moment, I was like, okay, I'm hooked. I need to learn more about this. I need to start teaching people this, because I was applying the techniques to my life. And I was just like, wow, I have like completely transformed my entire life. And this is like only the beginning. I was like, more people need to learn about this right now.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, so then I got in the online space and I was like, oh my God, I need to start talking to more women who are doing this. I need to start interviewing them. We need to get our stories heard. Like, I'm on my Oprah right now.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yes, girl, do it.
How long have you been in business?
That's a tricky question. Technically speaking, I registered my business before I graduated college. So I was like a sophomore in college or whatever. So technically that's been about 4 or 5 years now. But the moment I dived in for real into my business was like last year, April. Like I hired a business coach and really went in and I got my first client and all this other stuff. So I'd say maybe a year.
Awesome. Cool. So what does self-love mean to you?
Oh, it means a lot of things, of course. But I guess I'll kind of just here's my personal belief. My personal belief is that we are extensions of God, which makes us divine by birthright, point blank, period. We are, and the way I explained it to a client the other day, and it's going to be in this course I'm creating, is when an artist creates like a piece of artwork, the essence of the artist is always going to be in her art. You're always going to be able to tell the difference in between people's artwork just because the essence of the artist is in the art. In that same way, our creator is kind of in us. So we are the masterpieces of the creator. And so like we we can put a price on an item from an author, but what kind of price can you put on a creation of God? Like none. It's priceless. So for me, love means at all times you are in tune with the fact that your worth is like just there, period. So whenever you're screwing up, whenever you're making a mistake, whenever you're doing all the things you think you should not be doing, remembering that none of that has anything to do with where your self-worth comes from. Your self-worth is just something that is. So yeah.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I totally agree. Have you ever read I think it's called like All Things Love by Ernest Holmes?
No. All things.
Oh, yeah, it's something like that. Something, all things, something love, but so good. All about just how we are like descendants of God, and we need to learn to embrace the fact that if we think that God is like this amazing higher being, then why would we feel like we are not just as high as he is?
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, if you have the title of that book, please send it to me because
Yeah, definitely.
that sounds
So freaking good. I go to so I actually live in LA now, and I go to a church out there, and they were talking about it, and I was like, I gotta find this book, and I read it, and I was like, wow, you just like took my practice to the next level.
wow. Oh my gosh, you have to remember the title and you have to send
Yeah, I will. I'll post the link and everything for everyone.
Perfect.
Totally. So when you actually got started, did you feel like it was going to be easy for you to make this transition in your life, since you had already decided that you were like going to be a writer and a teacher?
No. Ease is a recent idea of mine, like realizing that things don't have to be hard. And that's why I'm sort of stepping into a new level of my business now. Before I was sort of like I knew I had a skill. I've like in third grade I won this creative writing award because I wrote a story about a mud puddle, a talking mud puddle. So I've always been a writer. I graduated college like what's it called? Magna cum laude, where you're like
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew I had the smarts. So in that way, I knew it would be easy. But what ended up not being easy and what has completely transformed my business is realizing that it's energetics, not all this extraness going on. So in the beginning, I thought I had to learn all the strategies and blah, 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 spent thousands of dollars on coaches and whatnot. And it wasn't until I shifted into healing my energy and my mindset that I actually started seeing shifts happen.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah, so that's when it became a little more easier. Before then, though, it was not. Yeah, my mind was working against me. I told you I was struggling with anxiety and depression and things like that. So my mind is not trained to be on my side. Like I'm now teaching it, training it to be on my side. That's not something that was the case from the get go.
Yeah. And I think that's so beautiful because I feel like a lot of the times we aren't, programmed to have it on our side. We are just programmed to just survive. Like I got to get by, I got to pay for rent, I got to eat, I got to do these basic things, and then we actually become adults. Like I remember dropping out of college because I was just like freaking out. Like I know that I don't want to be an English teacher. I know that this isn't what I want. Like I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I was like, I can't believe they put this pressure on me to even do this thing, like to make such a huge decision at such a young age. That again, for like the next 3 years, I kept dropping and out of college. Like I was just like, they keep saying it, so I'm gonna try, and then I would make it through like a semester and just be like, nope, sorry.
It's just not meant for you. If it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you.
Yeah. And then once I finally figured out what I wanted to do, I was like, oh, I don't need to go back.
Right. It's no need. I mean, like mine. No.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. So I love the fact that you're like actively retraining your mind, and the fact that you're teaching other people that we can actually control our minds and that we can, undo the damage that was done in the past.
And it's such
Learn
important.
that healing begins.
Oh my gosh. It's I mean, it's the work of my life. I'm so glad I kind of stumbled into it after like a whole bunch of trial and error. But like this work of reprogramming your mind, nothing else in your life changes until your mind changes. So it's not so much that my life is incredibly different now than it was then. It's just the way I interact with my life now and my mind is a completely different experience. Like, so yeah, that's why I do the work is I know what happens when your mind is not on your side. I know what having suicidal thoughts feels like. Like I know what happens when your mind is beating you up. And I'm on a mission because so many more people than would like to admit are struggling with that. Their mind is beating them up. And so my mission is sort of like we gotta start the healing. We have to facilitate the healing. Without the healing.
Yeah. So if someone, is watching this video right now and they just need to take away one piece of information from you regarding this, what would you tell them?
Regarding the mindset work?
Yep.
Okay. Anything that does not feel good, anything that makes you feel bad or makes you feel like you're not good enough is a lie. And so every time you see that lie in your mind, I want you to practice disengaging, like recognizing it as a lie. That one step on its own is going to be beautiful. You recognizing that thought is a lie. Every thought we think is not true. That also too would be important. Every thought we think is not true.
Totally. I remember seeing a post that was like, if I told you you were a pink elephant, would you believe me? And it's like, no. So no matter how many times I said it to you, you wouldn't accept it as true. So why do you decide to accept that because someone told you in the 3rd grade that you're not good enough?
Exactly.
Or you're not pretty enough? Like, why?
I love
Who
that.
says?
If I told you you're a pink elephant, you're not going to buy it, are you? Exactly. That's a perfect.
Like, so it's like, we gotta, shake up the idea that every single thought is true and that because it roamed through your head one time that you have to attach yourself to it. I think it was Louise Hay who said, you just got to understand they're coming just like clouds, like they're just passing by. And you decide whether you connect to them or not.
Oh, I love that. Like clouds.
Yeah. Like, because I feel like life is once you actually have the tools, life is so much more simpler. Like, just like you said, like, I don't feel like, you know, yeah, like, I moved, I quit my job, I did a whole bunch of things, but I feel like now I'm just more equipped to handle what life throws me, and that's what makes it more easier. It's not that my problems went away, it's that I'm, like, ready for it. I'm like, I have a master. Like, I got a lot under my belt now.
Exactly. Another thing I would want to tell people though, just as far as getting to a place where you can control your thoughts a little better. What started me when I started this whole spiritual journey was Marie Forleo and another woman I listened to. Well, I haven't listened to her in a while. Her name is Till Swan. Anyway, both of them told me feel your feelings. Basically, your emotions are little things in your body that you need to feel. So, like I told you, I was depressed for years, like years. And it wasn't until I allowed myself to go back and actually feel that loss that it was able to release itself off of me. So I was literally crying for like months and years. But I finally gave myself permission to like feel it and let them pass through. So that's another thing I would say. If you're in like any type of negative emotion, like feel it. I know we live in this whole new age world where you have to be positive, but if your emotions need to be felt, they demand to be felt, even the negative.
Yeah, or they're gonna like keep coming back more powerful.
More powerful, you're going to be depressed and you're going to be like, oh my god, why am I depressed? But it's because it's a feeling you've been ignoring for a really really long time. So yeah.
Yeah. And then also I would just add, like, find a way to cope with it for you. Like, I remember I used to just listen to Whitney Houston. Like, I would listen to the same album just like on repeat. Like, I'm gonna cry, I'm literally like gonna scream, I'm gonna punch my pillow, I'm gonna do whatever it takes in order for me to break up this energy. Exactly. And literally just release it. And I'll wake up the next day and I'm like, that is out of our system.
What a relief. Yes.
Yes, onward and upward.
I mean, that's what I'm finding, even because I live with my sister. And I don't know if you have any siblings or whatever.
Oh, I have 3 sisters.
So you know. But I'm finding now, even in like those negative things that we're so afraid of, those arguments, those high level emotions that we're so afraid to confront, when we are conscious beings, bringing awareness to those emotions is kind of, it's a good thing that they show up, because they show us where we still need work, where we're still believing a lie, where we're still this, that, and the other. So again, what I found recently is that these negative emotions, we have to stop being so afraid of them, because in every single way they're being a guide. And then we still have to love ourselves anyway.
Yes. And knowing that, I remember that I think it was like Lisa Nichols or something, and she was like, I felt that I was unworthy of my desires because I grew up in a bad neighborhood. And she was like, and when I got older, I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And it's like, we place these limitations on ourselves. That's just like, oh, my socks don't match. Or, you know, like these stupid things that's just like, I can never, you know, have this amazing job. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. And it's like, who gives a crap? Like, find someone who's like rocking it the way that you want to rock it, and like figure out what that person is doing differently from you and start to emulate that. Like, success truly leaves clues, and we just have to own our power and just say, okay, if she can do it, like I can do it too.
And that owning your power bit is so important. And I don't know if I can bring this up, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. Anyway, I just recently discovered like a block, just because I'm black. And I know that's a crazy thing to even, but just the environments and stuff that I've seen, I just realized that in my head, I was telling myself that doesn't belong to me because I didn't grow up in those environments. So just realizing, you're talking about stepping into power, like genuinely like stepping into our power fully and realizing that nothing that we saw when we were younger can define where we're going in our future. Like, we literally have that choice.
Yeah, totally. And it's like, I grew up in the projects in New York City, and I was fortunate enough to go to really good schools and to have a nice balance of it, but I still had to come home to, you know, regular life. So it was like I had this mask on that was just like, okay, so when I'm with you guys, I like talk like this, and I like want to listen to Britney Spears and Faith Hill, and then I come home and I'm like, nah, I want to listen to like Jodeci or something. And and it was hard to like, you know, keep putting the mask on and going back and forth. And then I finally just got to a breaking point when I was just like, no, I'm like this person who loves both, and that's okay. And I don't have to put on a mask to be anyone else. I'm totally fine and comfortable in my skin. Even like a couple weeks ago, like I took the weave out and was like, let's see how this feels.
Right.
Like, let's get comfortable loving yourself exactly as you are. Yeah. Like, it's time to practice what you preach.
I mean, and that hair journey is especially part of that. So, yeah, struggles, so many struggles.
Yeah,
I'm not giving.
And it's beautiful. And it's beautiful to know that you're not alone in the journey, because a lot of the times we feel like we have to suffer in silence because everyone else is living this happy, picture perfect, you know, life online, when in reality they may be like totally freaking out. And it's like, it's okay to just say, hey, I'm freaking struggling today. Like, so on that note, what is the last thing that you feel like you struggled with, and how did you overcome?
The last thing I felt like I struggled with. Okay. Again, being a coach and just learning all these different things. This is why my brand has sort of switched lately. Learning about the different sort of attachment styles for people. And figuring out my attachment style, which is an anxious attachment style. I'm shifting that to a more secure attachment style. But basically what anxious attachment style means is that when somebody else does something, you take it personally. Like, you take it to mean something about who you are and what you did. A secure attachment is like, that's all them. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm beautiful. I'm perfect. Whatever. So my most recent like thing that I've been practicing in my life is shifting from anxious attachment to secure attachment. So when people do things to me, and when people like, it's never about me. It's my, like we were talking about earlier, my worth is inherent, and nothing anybody says or does can shift that. So learning how to, in my friendships, in my relationships, in all of my interactions, recognizing that what the other people do are not a reflection of me.
Definitely. Oh my God, that's so true. I didn't even like think of attachment styles like that. Wow, that's cool. So when you first started in your business, were you just like, I have to get a coach, I'm like gonna read a million books, or was it just like, nope, I'm just like ready to go, like when you hired the business coach?
It at first I thought I could do it by myself. Those first 3 years where I was just kind of playing around, doing nothing online, making no money, just posting inspirational posts.
Yeah.
I thought I could do it by myself. Then I went and hired that business coach, and she was wonderful, but I didn't need a business coach. What I needed was mindset. I needed mindset work. I mean, funnels are funnels. Facebook is Facebook. It's always going to be Facebook. What matters is the mindset stuff. So she gave me all the information I needed to build a successful business, but my mindset wasn't right. So even though I was employing all these strategies and whatnot, it made me money a little bit from the jump, but it wasn't enough to really consistently keep my business moving. So, like I said, in the beginning, I didn't feel like I needed a coach, but then I felt like I needed a coach. I hired her, and now I'm back in a place where it's kind of like, I don't feel like you need a coach, but I do feel like they're really, really useful and beneficial, especially like mindset coaches. Yeah.
Definitely. That's why I became a mindset coach. Because I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. It's so transformational. And just like you said, like, Facebook is Facebook. Like, you know, as a writer, especially, like, you know how to write a post, you know how to do all these things. Like, we know how to sell.
Yeah.
Like, in some way, shape, or form, we have either been sold to and we know how we like to be sold to, or we were selling something to someone. So that part, down packed. It's everything else that needs to follow up behind it.
Because you can,
That you got to build that confidence.
exactly, because you can know these actions, and like you said, if you don't have the confidence, if you haven't released all this stuff in you're never going to take the action, or you're going to take it and it's not going to be in alignment, or you're going to come off like in your content as unconfident and stuff like that, and blah blah blah. So we have to get the inside working first.
Yep, definitely. What's your favorite quote about self-love?
I don't think I have a favorite quote. I take in so much information. I'm a nerd. When I say I'm a spiritual nerd, like, so I don't think I have a favorite quote. I think it's just my favorite idea is that I'm a child of God and that I'm inherently divine by birthright.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Definitely, because it is our birthright. I have back in my house, I have a Post-it on the wall that says, I am a child of God, and that makes me a badass.
Oh, yes. Did you write that? Is that yours? That should be.
Yeah.
I'm a child of God, which makes me a bad. I'll buy that shirt. Get to it.
Okay. Will do, because it's so important.
It is important. And I'm always questioning whether I can say things, but this is practicing self-love as well. But that's part of the thing that kind of why I had to pursue a whole lot more extra spiritualities, because people, at least in that particular church I was in, was trying to convince me that I was not good enough as I am, that I was like sinful, and unless I did this, this, and this, then I wasn't loved by God. And the only thing I knew to be true, the only thing that felt true to me was God was unconditional love. That's the only thing I knew to be true. And so when everything else kept coming to me, I'm like, I don't know, because God is unconditional love. So yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm so adamant about putting some more extra things into your spirituality, because that can affect your belief system as well. If you're believing that you're not inherently worthy, that's going to affect every single area of your life as well.
Yeah. And it's a lot of the times the reasons why we create those negative patterns, because we don't feel worthy. So you apply to the crummy job, you stay with the crappy boyfriend, you know, you have the negative Nancy friends and all those things going on because you don't feel like more is available to you, because you don't feel worthy.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're so awesome. What's your favorite book?
Let me think about
that. So many.
I mean, exactly. But let me think. My favorite book. What's the name? If it's my favorite, I should know the name. But I think it's called The Body Keeps the Score.
Ooh.
Like, must. Like, completely shifted my coaching business. Like, when you really understand these things, suddenly you're like, pay me $5,000 because I understand how your whole body works and I know how to help you heal it. So I especially recommend it for like spiritual coaches, people working with people with trauma and helping people heal type things, because I had been applying so many like concepts and exercises and techniques and NLP, and then I read this book and I realized why they're working. Like, I realized like science and psychology has literally backed up this stuff to support your mental and emotional well-being. So yeah, the book was phenomenal, mainly because, again, it kind of just validated some of my methods, and then it first it enlightened me to so many other things, and then it helped me realize that my reactions were like physically stored things in my body. And it got me deeper into my yoga practice, because yoga is one of the ways to start loosening up those things. So yeah, the book is just kind of, it's very sciencey. Like, he includes a lot of data, a lot of information about, like, to support his facts, which is what I love about it because I'm a nerd. But it's a beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, I'm definitely gonna check that out.
And you say,
I love reading.
So okay, when did you read? I don't know, you're supposed to be asking a question real quick.
It's okay.
Think and Grow Rich, because that was one of the first things that wake me up to like being okay making money. Like, because before then you're like in this space of oh no, is it, am I wrong and blah blah blah. So like, what was your experience reading that book the first time?
So the first time I read it, I was like, this is a little crap. I didn't have a business. I didn't know. I had like read The Secret in high school, but never really like paid attention to it. I was just like, oh, well, I'm already a positive person. It's okay, whatever. And then I read Think and Grow Rich, and the chapter about auto-suggestion, where he was talking about when he would whisper to his son who didn't have, and he could hear, I was like, this is gold. And I was like, I don't know what to do with this information. I'm going to put this book down. And then so I was like actively watching like Marie Forleo and Oprah and like all these things, and I was like, okay, I want to be a talk show host. Like that's what I want to do. And then that was the only plan. And then I actually hired a coach, and I was just like, wow, I could do this. Like, the TV show was totally great, and Oprah, she reached millions of people, but I want to work with people on like a more one-on-one personal level. And I was just like, okay, let's read the book again.
And you read it?
And I read it again. And like, I was like, okay, I got something even more from it now this time. That I'm like, you're 3 feet from gold. Let's get it again. And I just actually read the book again for the 4th time.
And you still got some more gold out of it, right?
Yeah. Then I'm like, I totally get why people are like, this book is like the creme de la creme.
And even just you talking about reading something once and then coming back and reading it again. My talisman, like my favorite symbol, spiritual symbol, is the spiral. The reason why is because it sort of like connotes you get deeper and deeper with your understanding each time. So you sort of start off on the surface level of something, and then you relearn it and you get it at a deeper level than you did the first time, and you keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So like example, you read and Think and Grow Rich, and then the first time you read it, you get it on this certain level, and then the next time you read it, it's even deeper, and the next time you read it, it's even deeper. For me, that's like life itself. You're
yes.
a lesson each time over and over, and it's just getting deeper and deeper into your psyche until it's like really there.
And it's just preparing you for the next thing. Like when I first read the book, I got thoughts become things, and you're thinking, you need to pay attention to your thoughts. And I did. And then I was just like, I don't know what to do with them. I don't know how to change them. I don't know how to do anything. And then when I realized that I was kind of getting off track, I had just dropped out of school again. I was at a crummy job. All this stuff was going down. And then I was just like, maybe you should read the book again. Because mind you, this strange man just gave me this book on the train and was like, hey, you like to read? This book will change your life.
Yeah, that was God. I mean, that didn't have nothing to do with that man. God was like, my baby needs this book. Let's get it to her.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know what you're doing with yourself. Here you go. I'm going to hand it to you on a silver platter.
All the answers there. No, that book is scrumptious. It's scrumptious.
Yeah. I think now that I'm talking about it, I think I want to get on the train. I'm going to buy another copy of the book, get on the train, and give it to someone now.
Okay,
like,
great. Change their life. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. But it's beautiful. And that now I'm kind of in the practice of rereading some of the amazing books that I already love.
I need to go back and do that too, because I'm constantly looking for new things to read, just trying to, you've heard of, what's his name? Tia Lopez, right?
That's it. Yeah.
And he says, one of his things says he would read a book every day. He would read a book every day. And every time I make an up level in my business, so last maybe like November or December, I decided I wanted to get a paying full client, which for me was like $1,000. And before then, I couldn't make that happen. Everybody kept paying me in payment plans, which is still cool. We're not even worried. But I wanted somebody like, I wanted to pay you right now. So that was gone from my mind or whatever. Then this sale comes for this NLP course by Kane Ramsey. It's like a 26-hour course. I'm a nerd, so I went through all 26 hours. And again, I'm reading and I'm learning. I'm like, oh my gosh, so these exercises and these techniques that I'm doing with my clients, again, is psychology. Like, this is not just spiritual concepts. Like, I'm literally facilitating psychological healing. Where was I going with this? Oh my God.
That means this is good.
I have no idea. My mind just went like,
Okay, we were talking about re-going through things, and you deciding to take this course. So this was you reiterating in your mind the practices that you have been working with your clients because of Tao Lopez.
right, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm working with my clients, and dang.
Oh.
Oh, it's this level and being able. So it's not until though I study this course and I realize that what I'm doing is actually useful. Like I realize that the techniques that I'm giving is actually helping people heal. And then the second I step into that knowing and that sort of like worthiness around being a coach is the second she showed up into my inbox. So again, these things are just so deeply connected. This confidence level with who you attract and how you attract it.
Yeah.
Things
And
like
it's one of those things where it doesn't even always have to be like this scary action. It's just you making the decision, you doing the healing work, and you showing up as that person in the world.
exactly.
Because you were just being you when she, slid into your DMs
Right.
and was just like, you're the one for me. I've been waiting for this moment. And I'm always telling my clients, like, there are people out there literally waiting for you to step the fuck up.
It's just about you feeling like you're ready enough for that person to want you. That's the important.
Yeah. And understanding that there's a level for everything. The person that I needed 2 years ago when I first read Think and Grow Rich is completely different than the person that I need now. So there's a level for everything. So we never feel like, when I first started, I felt like I needed to be like Gabby Bernstein level. Like I needed to know so many things in order for me to even charge someone $30 an hour. And it was like, okay, that's not the case because you ain't giving Gabby Bernstein kind of results. So that's okay.
Right. And it's not, I mean, and then when you get into some of these higher level, so to speak, programs and you realize they're all kind of saying the same things you already know. So you've been convincing yourself that they're bigger and better than you, but you guys all know the same stuff. They just have more publicity. That's it. So,
Yeah.
and
And
even with
they're just confident enough to charge that.
exactly. And even with that NLP course that made me confident, the only reason it made me confident was because I realized I already had the tools. Like he was giving me tools that I was already using. So it wasn't the course itself that added to me and gave me all this extra. It was the fact that taking this course I realized that, oh my God, like I already have this stuff. I can kind of chill out. I have this stuff.
Definitely. Like I'm so dope. I can do this.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need that extra push that's just like, all right, I got this in the bag. Now I know.
Now I know.
And then you like, I feel like in that moment then you just like shoot off like a rocket. Because now you're like, I got it.
And you just know, and suddenly it's just like this whole different energy and you a whole different person. And it's like my whole, I don't know, my whole brand and all of my stuff kind of just grew in that same moment. The same moment I knew that I was worthy is the same moment things just kind of took off. So step by step.
Totally. So what kind of legacy do you want to leave in the world?
I thought about this one, of course, and then what I was thinking about, the truth was, I want us to be free. Like, that's honestly my desires. I want us to be free. And by free, I mean free emotionally, free financially, and like free in our relationships. So, first of all, financially free is so deep on my heart. It's so deep on my heart. I'll just give you a story to kind of help you understand why it's so deep on my heart. So, like, my mom, when I graduated high school, my mom, I have a little brother now. He's about 7 years old now, 7, 8. He's, but my mom had my little brother, but she was like at a full-time job. So she was able to take off while she was pregnant, but immediately upon having my little brother, she had to go back to her work to take care of the kitties and everything. So getting up at 6 a.m. every morning and you're not getting home until 6 p.m. and you still got to feed everybody, help everybody do their homework, blah, 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 blah. So my younger sister, the one who I live with now, she ended up being the one because I was going at college. She was still in high school. So she ended up being the one taking care of him basically while my mom was at work. And my little brother has autism. Um, so it got to the point where like he was accidentally calling her mom. Like when he started talking, he was calling her mother. And my mom was so offended by it. I pushed you out my and you're calling.
Yeah.
Um, but what
All my hard work.
all that hard work. But what it showed me was how important time is for relationships and especially in that youth. And even until this day, my little brother will listen to my sister more than he will listen to my mother. And I just decided I wanted to be there for my children as they were growing up. I didn't ever want to have to spend majority of my days somewhere trapped. So the legacy I want to leave is helping as many human beings as I can create that time and financial freedom where they have that sacred cash flow, where they're making money in a way that genuinely feels good all around to them. That's the mission.
I like that. Yeah. Good. The world needs you and everything you have to offer. So tell everyone how they can work with you.
Well, of course, you can do private coaching. That's an option if you want to work one-on-one. I am releasing, oh my gosh, all the excitement in the world. I am launching Self-Love Healing and Money Vibes is a 5-week group coaching course. And it's kind of like you get course and group coaching. So you're getting 2 in 1, like, duh. But it's this amazing experience. We're going to align you with confidence, with abundance, with creating a life that genuinely feels fulfilling. We're going to do that deep healing work around the stuff in your past because that's what matters a lot to me is releasing all those heavy energies. The way I explained it to my client was we all know everything is a vibration. Like we understand that. Everything is a vibration, including our memories, including ourselves, including our negative thoughts. So we have to clear away, adjust those vibrations because they're still going to carry. If there's a negative vibration being carried within you, it's there regardless, and you have to release that before you can attract the opposite. So this is sort of like a manifestation course, but it's not average. It's a group coaching program, and it's just amazing. If you go to my page, you'll be able to find the link to read more. So you can work with me, group coaching or private coaching.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You are my Crush Wednesday.
Thank you for.
Oh, my last question, totally forgot. So I am all about like having dance parties and all that stuff. So if we were to have a dance party, what song would you play?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dance party. You know what? It's so crazy because I would play. What's the name of the song? Post Malone. Come on, Ayanna. Come on, you can do it. I can't trust nobody with all this jewelry on you. You don't. Okay. Post.
I don't know that one.
It's kind of hood, but not really. But
yeah, that's fine.
I love it though. Let me tell you why I love it. I listen to it in the morning. It's the first time I play it when I get in the shower. The reason why is because he's in the song. He's talking about we can't trust nobody with all this jewelry on you, and it just helps me with my money mindset. So I'm in the shower in the morning, and I'm like, you can't trust nobody. I got all this jewelry on me, babe. You right? We can't trust nobody. So that would be the song I would play. Just this sort of openness to riches. So many of us have this sort of like block towards even talking about money or talking about being rich. And I love that song because it kind of just, that's okay.
Yeah.
You get to be rich.
Definitely. I'm going to go listen to that right now and like dance.
I think so. If I can remember the title. Where is it? I mean, like everything else is gone, but
it's okay. I'll like type those words into Google and totally figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be talking soon.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye, you guys.